what's up, everybody? It's your boy Richard Graves, the Richard Graves Group. Today, I have a very special guest, my guy J.L. Harris, who is an author and also an entrepreneur, and also does a whole lot with youth in the community, and does a lot of just great work. This is his new book called Be You. So we're going to bring the brother on. We're going to listen to him. We're going to talk to him about it, and talk to him about whatever else he's got going on. So without further delay, Mr. Harris, how are you this morning, brother?
Yeah. What's up, brother? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for always coming on. I appreciate you. So you got your new book out. I know you've written a few books, and your new book is titled Be You. So tell the people what your book is actually about, and give us an idea what motivated you to write it.
Well, first, Be You. Be You is basically a book about it's a journey through life struggles. I had to overcome a lot of obstacles that was in my way. Hurdles were out there, thrown out there. So basically, it's a self-help book. It's gonna show you some insights of how my rise from where I was to where I am now. It's got like 11 principles that starts out with believe in yourself. I think anything you want to do in life, you have to know who you are, and you have to believe in yourself in order to accomplish your dreams or whatever you got going on. And the
Okay.
inspiration behind it was so many people kept on coming to me a lot saying, hey man, you need to write something inspirational, maybe a self-help book, said. So I just started listening to them, and then over the years I just picked up all my information and the things that I was on my journey, and I put it all in a nice package. BU is not a long book. It's short. It's straight to the point. It's a pick up and go book. And if you want something that's going to be able to push you to get out there and focus on your dreams or accomplish your dreams, this is a good book for you to read.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit, brother, about as far as with your journey. Tell us where you came from. How you came to be an author. Let us a little bit know about your story and what you went through and how you got to where you're at today.
Oh man, we got enough time, that's for sure. Green tea, got to have it. But anyway, my story. Where did I start? Originally, I come from the South Side of Chicago. Chicago was my first love. South Side. My mother moved us out to the suburbs of Aurora back in the '70s, late '70s. And at first, I didn't too much take a liking to moving to the suburbs, the western suburbs, because it was different. I grew up on the South Side. It was all black. Schools were black, and coming out here being, with everything else, it was a culture shock for me. But I began to meet some great friends here in Aurora growing up, and Aurora became my second home. I love it. And through all that, I went through some trials and tribulations. I got involved in some bad decisions I made that landed me in state penitentiary. Uh, that's when God had spoke to me and told me, say, "Hey, man, hey, I got something for you to do." And so, and I started listening. He started showing me, uh, showing me everything that I should be doing with my life, utilizing my talents and everything the gifts he has given me for years. I think, when you don't know you have something, you don't value it. And so I never valued all the things that I could do. So when God isolated me for those 4,952 days in the cage, that saved my life because it showed me that it gave me my vision. And so I started to I put a blueprint together through all those years, working on myself, um, teaching myself knowledge, reading and reading. I read so many books, and I read over 300 books, but it opened me up. And so when that other eye came open, it was on. And I knew who I was, and then I knew exactly where I was going, and I wasn't gonna let anything stop me this time. So that's my journey, and I put it all together in some of these books. And BU is it's a guide, and I think it's gonna help some people if they read it.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your story, brother. I know your story very well. We talk often, and I'm proud of you and the you know, overcoming and the journey that you came through, man. Seeing you, you've always been a smart brother. You've always been very intelligent, so it's just good seeing you directing that energy in this way. And of course, I'm very proud of the fact that the help that you give to young people, the stuff you do inside the jails and prisons across the country. Before I ramble about that, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you do outside of writing, as far as with the jails and the prisons across the country, where you have talked to many of the individuals in custody there, and and how you seek to shape and actually positively affect their lives.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna give
Okay.
you the floor on this one. I'm gonna tap out so people can see you and really hear you talk about this, brother.
Yeah. Jails. When I was incarcerated, I started speaking. That's when I first started speaking when I was in jail. And when spoke to so many inmates there, I saw there was a need for it. And so a lot of times people would come to me, especially younger males. They would come to me and say, "Hey, Cooley," that's what they call me, nickname. They said, "Hey, we want we want what you got." And I was like, "What are you talking about? You want what I got?" He said, "Man, we like how you move. We like how you roll. We want what you got." And so right then I started mentoring and teaching these young men how to be men. Because a lot of times, these young men come into a situation when they're not men yet. They don't know how to become a man. And so that's where I started my mentoringship, and it continued outside. I got up, I met Victor Woods. I said when I read his book 20 years ago, I said one day I'm gonna meet this man, and I'm gonna tell this man how much he meant for writing his book. He wrote a book called A Breed Apart, and this book right here. When I read this book, I knew I was gonna be a writer, and so I said when I get out, I'm gonna meet this man. Not only did I meet this man, we are best friends now, and we work together. And so we go around to across the country and speaking in the jails and prisons. Right now, we got a few of them. We're in South Carolina, we're down in Florida, and we're here in Illinois. And so that's how the journey started by reading his book and seeing what he was doing. And I saw something in him that inspired me, and it reached me from a jail cell. And our story is powerful. How we met, and I hunted him down like I said I was gonna do because I put it in my mind what I was gonna do when I got out, and I hunted him down, and hey, we became good friends, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since together.
Wow, man, that's powerful, man. I know that I've seen some of the work you've done at Cook County Jail, which is obviously one of the
Tough place.
one of the largest jail populations in the country. I think it's only behind New York and Los Angeles as far as how many people they have in there. And I know you've been in Kane County out in Illinois as well, doing your work out there. And I know that you're soon to be doing the state of Illinois Department of Corrections, getting involved with the reentry programming and stuff that they're doing to try, with the restorative justice movement and everything. And I'm just
Well,
glad to see
shout out.
you. Yeah, glad to see you moving in that way. Now, this book you've written, but you've written a couple other books, quite a few other books actually. You knock them out, man. And I've never heard anything bad about any book that you've ever written. When somebody's read it, it's always been nothing
Oh
but
man, thanks.
positivity. Um, so I also want to ask, with your book "Be You," right now, where is it available at?
Thanks for asking. Real quick though, I wanted to send a shout out to the Cook County Jail, Tom Darden and Dr. Busol over there, and to Ron Haynes, Kane County, for allowing me to come in and our crew to come in and do what we do to bring some inspiration and some hope into those jails. And yeah, back to BU. Yeah, BU can be found on it's found on Amazon. You can go to Amazon and get it. Looking for J.L. Harris and get that, or you can get it from me personally. You can contact me, or you can go through Facebook and message or whatever. But that book is available on Amazon.
Okay. And with your book, "Bu," I know you do a lot of stuff out in Aurora, with regard to helping out, dealing with the issues out there. As far as, and for people who don't know, Aurora, even though it is a suburb of Chicago, it's also the one of the collar cities for the Chicagoland area. So you have Chicago Central, the city itself, and then you have the urban centers that I guess are satellites of Chicago, for lack of a better term, which would be was it Waukegan, Elgin, Aurora, Joliet, and Cal City. So they kind of from south to north. Aurora being out west. So Aurora is a city with with its own issues. Some of them mirror the issues in Chicago. Some of them don't, but I know you've been involved in a lot of things out there. So, as far as in Aurora, what's going on? What are you actively working on with the youth out in Aurora?
Oh yeah, I'm still mentoring youth in the world. I do have youth I mentor out here. We're doing right now we're doing a soup kitchen in Aurora, the church called Not Forgotten Ministries. And shout out to Pastor Sheila and Sherry Spears, my director of communications for On the Move. She is heading that project out there, the soup kitchen. And of course, I am doing the cooking because I do cook. I'm a chef, you know what I'm saying? So I'm giving the homeless, giving back to the homeless, give them something that you know, that they can feel, So a lot of times when people are homeless, we look at them and we turn our backs on them. And I would never do that because I know how it feels to be homeless, and it's very touchy to me because I was homeless before. And so if I can give back, that was one of my goals to do. That's what I'm going to do, and that's exactly what we're doing. So all praise due to the man upstairs for allowing that to happen. Yeah, but we're out here always, our boots on the ground, always doing stuff behind the scene that you don't hear about. See on social media or someone's talking about it. A lot of work we do. We just try to keep hush.
All right. And with your organization On the Move, if people want to reach out and help or, donate time or money, how can they reach you if they want to help you out with On the Move?
Well, they can go. They can reach me at 331-212-0172. We do take volunteers. We do take donations to be able to further us in some of our endeavors, future and presence. So yeah, and they can get a hold of me on that number. And I appreciate all you can. The people, more people come on. We need you.
All right. And I'm going to say this about your On the Move, and I meant to wear my On the Move shirt. I got an OTM shirt. It's pretty smooth. I wear it to work sometimes, and you have some people asking about it.
What does that
On the
mean?
Move, I'm just letting everyone know from my experience. JL has brokered situations where so there were shop owners out in Aurora that were having negative interactions with their clientele, the people who supported the business. And JL went out there and he did some protesting, and ultimately he brought the guy to the table, and they were able to work everything out. And he kind of changed this man's attitude towards the community, where it's supposed to being ambivalent with the community, looking at it some just where he gets a paycheck. He seems to have learned to be part of the community. And Gerald, you threw a nice event out there, a couple years back, where people came out, ate, listened to music, had a great time in his parking lot, and everybody was
Oh, no
involved.
question.
That's just an example, folks. If you want to assist, donate time or money to the organization, it's a real organization. It's not one that sits in postures and talks about things. They get very active. If there's a problem, they go address it, and not just in a negative way. Gerald sat down with this guy, brought him to an understanding, and then they became friends. So and he was able to at that point do an event, that brought the community out. And I think the biggest thing with a lot of these shops and stores, I know people in cities like Chicago, New York, and Baltimore and LA, you got your corner stores, you got your bodegas and stuff, and we have a similar things out out in Aurora. They have similar things. Any city, any urban city has it, but a lot of times those shop owners and store owners, they come out and they're not part of the community. They're coming there to take. So I think
Right.
the pattern you showed in that is, once you say, hey, I'm here, these are the people that I serve, and you treat them like people, and then they embrace you. Then they embrace you. Then you got the real loyal clientele. And if
Exactly.
then your worries about safety go down too, because they know everybody's watching, not just you. You know what I'm saying?
No question. You are correct.
So
You are
I
correct.
just I know the Sheriff Hain came out, support you in that, and I just wanted to say that was probably I seen you in action. So people can say what they want to say. I've seen you take a very negative situation and turn it into a community celebration. I've never seen anybody else do that. I see a lot of so-called community activists and social justice people. They talk a good game and they like the camera time, but I don't see them getting boots on the ground and really changing, flipping a narrative like that. That was like a complete 180-degree turn I saw there. Proud of you for that, man. Tell us
Yeah, I
about that
appreciate it.
situation. Tell the people that don't, because there are a lot of people don't know exactly what happened. So tell us about what
Yeah, I
happened with
mean,
that.
I was getting some phone calls from some concerned citizens about the store owner out there in the world in Jericho, and I knew who he was, and I had a run in him back in the days. So I just stayed away from him. But this was just becoming more of a problem, and I said, you know what, I'll investigate it because there was some kids who wanted to do something to this guy, and I said, you know what, let me step in and try to cool some heads here. And so when I went in there, I went in there just as a plant. I went in there and got a beer and went in, struggled in my pocket for the change, put the lady change out there. And he said, let me see your face. And I said, okay. He said, no, on the camera. And I said, on the camera. I said, no, whoa, wait a minute. What you doing here, man? I mean, I can show you my ID. I can show you my face, but I'm not gonna be looking at no camera. And he said, well, that's the only way you're gonna get here. If you don't, get out of my store. And I was like, oh, that's kind of rude. So I didn't like how he was talking to me. And so he fed everything they said was going on about him. So I said, all right, I'm coming back. I told him who I was. I said, my name is J.L. Harris. I'm an activist in the community. I'm coming back to shut you down. He was like, you gonna do what? You How dare you talk to me this way? And it got into a point where he said, I'm going to shoot him down. So he called the borough police. I said, call the borough police. They know who I am. Call. You know what I'm saying? So he calls them up. They all come in and I told him my side and he told me he kept on with that lie, said I was going to shoot him down. And we went from there. I was aggravated with him because I saw this was very, very dangerous. And this guy can't keep doing people like this. And so that infuriated me that he lied on me and tried to get me to go to jail. Now had I
Mhm.
not been the man I am today, guess what? I'd have been handcuffed. They would have believed what he said. You know, and
Wow.
so, ooh, 5 days later, it was on. I came back and we started to protest, man, and it got extreme difficulty under the circumstance because it was cold out. You know what I'm saying? This is the winter time, so I picked the protest in the cold weather below zero. So I had to stand on my square. I said I was going to do something. I had to see through it, and most people didn't think I was going to go through it. And most people, I got a lot of death threats. I mean, it saw that it's still ugly here in this world, even here in the world, in this great city, second city to Chicago, that we have these issues here. And so I had to stick it out, man. And it got ugly sometimes. But we came to an agreement and it was all about respect. He didn't understand how black people grow. And I had to give him a history lesson, who black people are and where we come from. So it was more of a teaching moment to a person who really didn't understand us, period. Didn't know how we rolled and how we act, but he accepted our money. And so I had to just give them that lesson. It was a harsh lesson for him because it cost him money, thousands and thousands of dollars. But it opened up for a relationship that he had a form of respect. And that's what it was about. We want to be respected. If you want to take our money, you're gonna have to respect us. If not, then you're not gonna operate in here. And I think times that in our community, especially the black community, and these people outside come in to get the black dollar, but they don't want to respect black people. So I had a problem with that. So we got it together. So now me and him are pretty good friends. We talk at least twice a month. I go check on him. He always trying to give me something free out of the store, and I'd be like, "No, you're not getting me nothing free, George. I pay." You know what I'm saying? So uh, it was a teaching moment, I thought, for both of me and him. You know,
Hmm.
I learned some things about his culture, and he learned a lot of things about my culture. So we
You know,
sat down
Joe.
and ironed it out.
Joe, you brought up a very good point, and I just want to touch on that real quick. Like I said, I've always looked at you as a very intelligent brother, and you're one of the few people that I really like to, to exchange with because you always bring uh, um, an interesting perspective and a clear perspective, positivity that you're going to learn something when I talk to you. I think there's something that a lot of our people in other major urban centers across the country can learn from that little interaction out there in Aurora. There's something very important you said. You told him about Black people. I think that we as African Americans often assume that these people that come immigrants over here from Arab countries or South or Central America or the Mediterranean or Central Europe, that they understand who we are and what we've been through. A lot of them really don't. I've even come to find that believe it or not, there's some African immigrants and African people who really don't know our story. They know a little bit about it, they heard about it, but they don't know the extent of what the transatlantic slave trade was and what slavery was and what Jim Crow was. And, they don't know how we come to who we are and why we do take things like respect. When you come and take our money, we expect respect like anybody else would. But I don't think they understand. A lot of times immigrants come and they see us as, lazy, because why are we taking up opportunities that they come and they can get? Because they come from sometimes very dire situations as well. So they're like, what's wrong with you guys? But then once we actually sit down and talk to them and tell them our story, and we listen to their story, we learn some stuff about them, and what they went through, and then we're able to understand each other better outside of the lens of simply black and white, but more as people, and people who've had experiences. So what I wanted to say was, when you said that you sat down and explained to them who we are, I don't think that happens in these bodegas and corner stores in New York and Chicago and LA and Baltimore, where the community comes together and say, hey, this is who we are. I think that's a big problem you see, like with those Asian beauty supply stores that open up in the city, in black areas. You don't see them in white areas. I don't think they take the time to respect the people that they're dealing with. Some do. I met some Asian store owners that are very active in their communities. There's one out in Bolingbrook. He does a scholarship for the kids in Bolingbrook High School. Oftentimes it's black people who get the scholarship, and he knows his customers, but that's very rare that I've seen. And I think we need more of
Very
that.
rarely.
Yeah.
Very rarely. And you are correct. And I that's the reason why we had the little celebration on his property, because I said, listen, that was one of the deals that I had with him, that you're going to have to start, you're not only being more kind to your customers, but you also have to be a give back. Because I said, what do you have done for the community? You've been over here for 30 years. What have you done? He said, I'll give to to United something. I said, no, not United, nothing. What have you done for Aurora? What have you done for this town where you get the money from? No, we need to do something for here. And I started naming some of the things I do. Scholarships we give every year. Right now, the day we had over $15,000 we gave out in the flag for 5 years for on the move of our own money and a few donations from the community. You know what I'm saying? So what have you doing? Like, are you giving back to the homeless? Are you doing it? He looked at me like I was talking a foreign language to him. You know what I'm saying? This is what it takes to serve our people here. We can't worry about everybody around the world. We need to focus on our community. You know what I'm saying? Then we can focus on others. So once we get us together, then we can help somebody else. And so I gave him that lesson, and he shook. He was like, he got it. He got it. And it was a powerful moment for us. When he shook my hand with respect, but he's a noble type of guy. George is a noble type guy. He likes to battle. He secretly was battling me. It was a contest. It was I was going to beat him and he wasn't going to beat me. But when he threw the white surrender flag up, I won. And we sat down, and when he shook my hand, it was a shake of gratitude, and it was also a shake of you won, and I'm man enough to shake your hand type
Right.
of
Right.
symbolic type gesture. But it was cool.
Well, like I said, he learned from you and you learned from him. I've been to that store when I go out to Aurora to visit. I've been there. I usually make it a point to stop by, and he's always, when he's there when I've gone, and he's very, very cordial, friendly, respectful. Man, I'm just, again, I don't think people. I think people don't understand how powerful that is and what type of blueprint you set up. If that blueprint is followed, that particular blueprint of engagement, if that is followed, man, I think that would change the dynamic of how our community interacts with a lot of these immigrant communities that come and open businesses in our communities. And it's a free country. You can open a business anywhere you want to, as long as you want to respect the people that the community you go into. I have a friend who's Arab, and when he first got to the country, he was telling me about I didn't like black people. He said I didn't like black people when I got here. He said because he was a Palestinian. He said he had a store on like not a store but a gas station like 79th and Ashland or something like that. And, that's the hood. So they in bullet. So this is your interaction with people. You're behind bulletproof glass. I mean, you at the corner store slash gas station, so you got homeless people hanging out, prostitutes hanging out, drug dealers hanging out. You
Right.
got the worst of the community, and that doesn't reflect. And I'm not saying that these people are bad people because this is the situation they're in. I'm just saying this is reality, what you're seeing every day.
Right.
But you're not seeing the majority of the community. You're not seeing the dads going out working the two jobs, taking care of their household. You're not seeing the grandmas, making meals, going to the church and feeding homeless people. You're not seeing them people because you stuck. You come from Orland Park or Tinley Park or whatever. You go to this corner store or a gas station. That's all you see. And I said, so I had to tell him. I said, man, and he thought about it, because he was telling me
Mhm.
about his experience in Israel. How he was treated, how he and his family were treated over there. So once I gave him a history lesson of how African Americans deal with the same similar type of situation, that's when he got a better understanding of things, and it actually helped
Yeah.
shape his opinion.
Because
So
of course they got to understand that African Americans paid the way. We paid the way for our ancestors paid the way not only for us to be doing what we're doing, but also for other natives to come over here from foreign land to get all these benefits that were open because they fought. We fought for it. So they should be thanking black people. When you see us, thank us. Putting up that struggle, putting up that fight, open those doors. That's what I think they should be doing.
hmm and I think that also, I mean, African Americans who are successful generally, at this point, because we are Americans, we go out and we're getting our degrees or we're getting our job experience or whatever it is we're doing. We become middle class. We're not trying to open stores. That's not what we own, you know.
Right.
But on the other hand, we do have a lot of brothers and sisters that have these businesses that they selling stuff out their cars. And now, don't get me wrong, they're making money selling stuff out their
Yeah.
cars. We see all the shops set up at the flea markets with brothers and sisters, black businesses. I think that, and those of you out there who know how to do this, those of you who know how to get with the Small Business Association, I think we need to
Mhm.
start doing some workshops, with local banks and with people who've done it for these to get these people. Let's get these people out of the flea markets and into the communities with their
Ain't no question.
stores, so we can
Yes.
start serving our own people. And also, there's the other aspect. We got to respect our people when we're doing that. If you're a black person, you have a business, we got to respect black people. And if you're a
Ain't
black
no question.
person coming to a black business, you got to respect black people. We should respect each other. The Bible says about Christians, do good to all, especially those within the body of Christ, right? So
Amen.
yours first. So as black people, I'm saying we should be good to everybody, but especially to one another. You know what I'm
Ain't no
saying?
question.
Especially to
Just
one
like
another.
every other race are
Yeah.
respectfully and good to their own. We as black folks have to do the same thing. And that's one of the things that I wouldn't say preach, but I try to convey to my audience all the time that we, especially black men in this country, I mean, we shouldn't be hating on each other and we shouldn't be killing each other. That's the big fight out here, man. That's the fight of the hate. If you see another brother doing well, salute him. And when you walk into these stores and when you see another brother walking past you, say, "What's up, brother?" I mean, all that anger and bad energy don't look at about. See, black men don't even look me in the eyes when he walk past me. And it's
Well,
sad.
now let me I'm gonna click off for a second, and I'm gonna put you up because I want you to really talk about this. People heard me talk about it. I've learned from you talking about it. I'm gonna ask you this question. I don't care if you're dealing with Crips and Bloods or BDs and GDs or Vice Lords and Stones or whatever you're dealing with. What do you think in regard to African American men, especially in Chicago right now, because we're seeing all this shooting and stuff? What would you say to the young brothers, in all brothers, to say as far as how we should be valuing each other? Because obviously we fight each other, but we got a bigger enemy, and that's a society that's kind of stacked the deck against black men in many ways. What do you think that we can say or do to reach out to those young black men to make them get it? Especially we look at all these rappers getting shot and killed and robbed, and it's crazy. What are your thoughts on that? And I'm gonna dip out for like a minute and just let you have the floor on that one because I'm really curious what you got to say.
Right. My thoughts on that would be I would look at my brother. I always tell him to look at your brother next to you. He is not your enemy. And then once you understand that he is not the enemy, then it'll sink in. Just because he rocked a 5, he rocked a 6. He is not your enemy. The enemy is within. You know what I'm saying? All things you've been told. When we have been misformed in this world of, I call it the world of games. Because if you think about it, life is just one big game. Now pay attention now. Let me tell you something. When the spirit speak. Now, in the life, this big game, it's a whole bunch of games. You hear me? A whole bunch of games. So you got to pick and choose what game you want to be in. Do you want to be in the corporate world game? That's a game. You want to be in politics? That's a game. Entertainment? That's a game. The music business? That's a game. Everything is a game. So in order to play the game that you want to get into, you have to know the rules. If you want to be a criminal, that's a game too. But if you get into that game, understand that there is consequences, and there's some severe consequences that can be in the jail or you could be in a box. That's just what it is. So you have to know the rules with every game you want to get in and play. So I like to my eyes to get in the game of an entrepreneur. That's a game. And so I have to understand the rules. So whatever you want to do in life, there are rules to it. So you have to understand what you're playing. If you get yourself involved in anything what you're doing. And so I always tell them, man, hey, your brother is not the enemy, man. Understand that he is not the enemy. And once you get that in your head, then it'll make a lot of sense, man. That's what I would tell them, that your brother is not the enemy, man. He is not the one that you after.
That was powerful, brother. And I'm saying, and by the way, I just dip out because I want to make some clips of some of the wisdom that you drop and kind of put those up, post those on YouTube as well. Because people's attention span ain't that long to watch a whole video. So I'm gonna start taking little nuggets
You
out
have to have those
and making
snippets,
little clips, little snippets, so people can grab hold of those powerful things. And I just want to point out the thing you didn't say. You didn't say, y'all problem's the white man. You said,
Yeah,
look at yourself. And don't get me
yeah,
wrong,
look
I'm
at
not
yourself.
trying to minimize the existence of racism. We know that exists. We know I'm not ignoring the fact that there's structural things and that, that are part of our society that are, make things uneven when it comes to us as African Americans, particularly as African American men. So I'm not saying that don't exist, but
Right.
uh, JL and I have talked quite a few times. And the point is, the first person you got to look at is yourself. You got to look at your thinking, because no matter what the game is, like you said, you got to sit back. Okay, where am I at in this game? How am
That's
I
right.
thinking? How do I get, if I want to be from here to here, how do I do that? I got to deal with self first. If I don't
Yep.
deal with self, it don't matter. It don't matter at that point. If I don't deal
No
with
matter
self,
where you're trying to get to.
yeah. Because what did Naughty by Nature say? No matter where you go, there you are.
That's
that's,
right. You ain't no
that's
question.
true, you know. Um, that being said, brother, I appreciate again everything that you've been doing, and I'm very proud of you. I've seen, we've known each other for some time, and I've seen you, as a basketball player, go through different things, and I see where you are at now. And I'm just gonna tell everybody, you same dude that I knew when we was teenagers, smart
Yeah.
brother, knew what it is. We both the same, but we've
Ain't no question.
matured,
Yeah, but not only we're both the same, we just took different journeys. You know what
different
I'm
journey.
saying? And your journey, you went to the military. God bless you for serving our country. You know what I'm saying? I come from a military background family. And my grandfather, father, all that, uncles, they all went to serve. But me, I was more of a renegade. I just didn't want to take that route. I wanted to go, I had to go take my route to get to where I had
Mhm.
to go because God had something for me. So I didn't understand that until God set me down. And sometimes when, God wants to get your attention, when he really wants to get your attention, he's going to isolate you. Because when
Mhm.
there's greatness at hold, God has to isolate you to have that greatness to come out. And that's what people don't understand. I don't take, yes, I was mad, I was incarcerated, but it was for a reason because things happen for a reason. And so once you understand the reasoning, then things will make sense. But you have to be in tune in the mind, body, and spirit to be able to hear and to be able to pay attention for those type of things that happen for you. So getting on that path is a crazy path that I've been on. But I mean, it's like that when you go in the wrong way, God's gonna make that U-turn. He's gonna turn you in, especially when you're called to do something. And I know I'm called to do this work. I didn't choose this work. This work chose me. And so that's why I don't think people understand. I mean, all the things I'm doing, from the cooking to the multiple business, the books, and to the all these, doing the community work. This is all by design.
Mhm.
God has put so much into me that I have to utilize my talents and my gifts. Or when I meet the Father, what I'm going to tell him? You know, I want to hear, "Well done, my servant." That's what I want to hear. And so that's what I'm after. I'm after greatness. I'm not after, I don't want to be good. I want to be great. If I come from greatness, why can't I be great? And sometimes people have a problem with that. They figure you're doing all these things that you're doing it for show. I don't do anything for show. I don't do
No,
it. But
man,
God said, hey, but God's telling me, hey, you need to show the people. So I have to show you because this is what God is doing. He wants me to be able to show you because he's showing you where he brought me from. I come from the forget the floor. I come from the underneath the ground. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
I come from the gutter, to be where I'm at. That's what people don't understand. I had to go through so much and I'm still going through so much out here just to keep going. So many people are trying to stop you from doing what you're trying to do. It's like, I'm on some positive stuff. When I was on negative stuff, yeah, I was all
Yeah,
Now when you're
people
doing
love it.
positive stuff, there's still there's still rah rah rah. It's you can't please everybody, and
Right,
that's just the journey. You have to be able to just say, you know what, just go and do you, and that's what the
right.
book "Be You" is all about. Once I started being me, good things started to happen. I was no longer chasing false gods. You know what I'm saying? I was chasing the real thing. The God is in you. It's a G in every side, everybody. And so once you understand that, man, there's nothing you can't stop you but you. That's
Wow,
it.
man. Well, brother, the only thing I'm gonna add is that, yeah, I know that I've seen you do so much stuff. You embody the actual principle or the Christian principle of not letting one hand know what the other hand is doing, because you do a lot of stuff that nobody hears about. I know personally of you helping people that ain't going never heard about, just between you and that person, helping people,
Ain't no question.
involving yourself in situation, getting assistance for people who are in need of dire assistance. So I'm just going to put that out there. There's a lot. I'm not going to enumerate all of them because, like I said, God counts them to you, to you. But
Ain't no
I'm just
question.
getting proud of you, brother. Encourage everyone to pick up the book "Be You." Um, I've read it. It's great. I'm going to share it with some people. I'm going to talk to
And
you.
and hey, and hey, thank you, Mr. Graves, for doing a blur. I
No
appreciate
problem.
you, but don't you give me all the accolades. But hey, I'm proud of you, my brother. I watch you rise into in what you're doing in your position. And I pray that, and I know there's gonna be much more where you going. You're gonna be up there. And so, hey, I salute you too, my brother. I love what you're doing, man. You are always been intelligent. You was a good pop Walker, like back in the day. Yeah, yeah. This is what we used to do back in the days when I
Right.
see you come. I'm like, oh man, he about to kill it. He about to kill it. You know what I'm saying?
All
So
right.
we go way back on the streets of Aurora. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
So man, it's a blessing watching you do your thing, man. I'm proud of you too, brother.
I appreciate it, brother. All right. So I'm gonna talk to you a little later about some things with your book that I would like to do, but we'll talk about that later. I think there's some dialectic group program you could do with that, with what you got. But we'll talk about that in further detail. I'm not gonna waste everybody else's time as we strategize, as we try to do positive things, man. Um, Again, if you got anything, is there anywhere you're going to be appearing or anything you're going to be doing? You're going to be doing any book signings or anything that anybody needs to know about?
Oh yeah, we were doing the book sign. I'll let people know because I'll be dropping my sixth book, another book that I know people have been waiting for. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be dropping that book, and it's gonna be a huge book sign, and they can come get all my books. I'm gonna have them all six available and ready. If you got some books that I haven't signed, I'll give you a date, and you all can come down. I'll sign those books, and man, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm a spoken word artist now. I've been in the studio working on new pieces, that I will be forming in Detroit coming up. I will be in South Carolina. We got Atlanta. We got so many things that getting ready to happen, especially I'm a shout out to the CPO, Chicago Peace Organization. I'm with them. I'm one of their top speakers. I mean, they are doing phenomenal things. We're going to be hooking up and doing stuff. And shout out to my man, Victor Woods, Kevin Hart is doing his movie. So, I mean, it's a lot of things moving in the camp, man, that we're gonna about to be out here, man. So I'm looking for. And I'm also writing my first screenplay. So, so I'm blessed, man, to be able to do what I love, man. And that's what life's about. Life's about living, not surviving.
Well, since I got you on the public platform, I'm gonna put this out here. In about a month, I'm going to be starting a not-for-profit organization called the Graves Institute for Public Policy, the John Graves Institute for Public Policy. Actually, it's named after my grandfather. And I would like for you to be an advisor, right? Because some of the social and public policy we're going to be working on is directly involving reentry into society for prisoners who are released. And it's also going to be dealing with policy and social and public policy to keep people from coming to prison in the first place. So
Exactly.
As an intelligent brother with your expertise and with your experience in those things, I won't take too much of your time doing it, but from time to time we'll sit down and meet and discuss policy initiatives that we're going to either create and push, or ones that someone else has created and we're going to back. And we're trying to, what I would like to see happen is the right things in Black and even Latino, even white communities where these things are problems. Poverty is a problem for a lot of places. Crime is a problem a lot of places, but it's ways for us to get involved to positively shape, the outcomes we want to see, so, think about it. I put you on the spot. I ain't gonna ask you for an answer right now, but I put you on the spot. Everybody
know. Listen, anything you're involved in doing this is going to help, man. It ain't nothing to talk about. I'm there. I'm on it. You're a good brother. I'm always willing to work and to be able to give whatever I can give. What I'm saying, to help and better in people's life. That's what I'm about, man.
I appreciate it, brother. And that being said, everyone, we're gonna let y'all get on with y'all Sunday. This is obviously broadcasting on YouTube. I'm going to rebroadcast it on Facebook, Facebook Live, or broadcast it, whatever, because they have I prefer the YouTube platform, but Facebook is where we get most of our people watching. So I'm going to put that on at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And, once again, I'll make some clips, Gerald. You were dropping some nuggets of knowledge that I think people need to see and focus. And I think people need to really listen to a lot of what you got to say, man. I don't care if they're in New York or LA, or if they down in San Antonio, Texas, anywhere where there's problems where young people are getting in trouble, which is everywhere. I think there's a lot they can learn from what you have to say, brother. All right. Well, God bless everyone. Be safe this Sunday and for the rest of your week. And we'll all talk soon.
Happy MLK Day.
Oh, yeah. To Martin Luther King. Happy MLK Day.
Most definitely.
All right, brother.
Without King, we wouldn't be here.
You're right about that. All right. God bless everyone. Y'all have a nice one. Peace.